And then you had Roosevelt, Franklin Roosevelt. Franklin Roosevelt took us back into the direction of our intention. Then the death of Roosevelt was used by the British, and certain corruptions they engaged in order to turn the power back to the British Empire. And with the assassination of two Kennedys, first the President Jack Kennedy, and then the elimination of his brother who was about to become president. And this process has sent the entire transatlantic region in particular down, down, down ever since. We have been in decadence and decline ever since. Now we've reached the point that the British Empire is staking an attempt to eliminate the United States, to eliminate any independent nation in Europe. That is, there are no nations in Europe, in the Western Europe. They're all part of a governance. They're part of an empire. They're part of the property of a British Empire, explicitly. The government of Europe is run from Britain. And the Russians are resisting that. Others are resisting it. The whole Arab world is controlled by the British Empire. Saudis are nothing but British puppets, essentially. And so you have that, but you have a resistance of significance from Russia now under Putin's leadership, and Medvedev with him and so forth. You have also from China as kind of resurrection, and you have a certain quality in India which includes an element of resurrection. And other nations of Asia are oriented. So now you have two parts of the world in this struggle. You have the transatlantic region, which could be dominated against the British by the United States, but ain't. Then you have, that's the transatlantic region, dominated by the British Empire. You have resistance on the Pacific side in the form of the continued independence, relatively, of Russia, the sheer mass of the population and technological progress of China, the potential of India to be part of that triad, Japan's readiness, together with Korea, to join Russia, China, and so forth. So we now have this trans-Pacific region, the transatlantic region. If we don't win from the United States over the British in the transatlantic region, we are going into hell. The British now are moving with their Saudis and other patsies. They're moving toward the option of either crush the United States entirely and crush other parts of Europe and Asia and so forth, challenge them. Or they're prepared to go to thermonuclear war. And the United States is supposed to be the instrument to make it possible. Because what has happened is the military capabilities of Europe, including those of Britain as such, have been reduced for reliance on the thermonuclear system of warfare, which the United States represents. And if you look at what this means militarily, the capability of conducting major warfare, that is on a planetary scale, of other powers is weakened. It's not capable of doing this, really. What you have, therefore, is the thermonuclear delivery capability, which is largely concentrated in the United States. Now you have that thermonuclear capability with the appendages attached to it in part of the Mediterranean, the Eastern Mediterranean, and in the Persian Gulf. There you have in the U.S. Navy, Air Force, and other capabilities, you have a thermonuclear capability to launch global thermonuclear war. And there's no other kind of war that will deal with this kind of situation. So the British are sitting back there for a moment, using their U.S. puppets under Obama. And as long as the United States supports Obama, this can happen. Obama is the deadliest enemy of the people of the United States. And therefore you see the significance of people crawling before Obama. They're not behaving like people, they're behaving like what? I don't know what. They're not behaving humanly. So as long as the United States government continues not to behave humanly in these matters, we're in grave danger of one of two things. Either the whole world collapses under capitulation to the British Empire, in which you will get a rapid decline of the world's population from 7 billion to 1 billion, and a rapid one. And if you look at the food supplies that we're going to have as of the spring of next year, you're going to know what mass death is. That's where we're going. If we don't get Obama out, that's what you're going to get next year, by the spring of next year. And so if we don't have the guts to throw Obama out of office, who's nothing but a British puppet, we're finished. And there are no schemes that's going to save humanity. So there you have the Trans-Pacific region. Russia, which is not really a very large population by Chinese standards. China, which is a progressive nation in terms of high technology now. India, which is a respectable nation in terms of its capabilities. So therefore, if the United States is able to engage in a de facto alliance, it just be cooperation as necessary between the United States and these nations of the Trans-Pacific region, we can make it. We have the capability to make it. Take away the thermonuclear capability of the United States, take it out of the British hands. Under those conditions, we might be able to make it. But right now, the British are counting either on going to a thermonuclear war or having it launched with U.S. troops, U.S. forces, or hoping that we all collapse and then the British Empire can take over by default, the way they've taken over Europe. And that's where we are. So that's the essential short point of this thing.